So as you know, there are a lot of questions, theories, and guesses flying around the Division community concerning the future of this franchise, especially now that Massive Entertainment has announced they will be creating the next Star Wars game. Will we be receiving another Warlords of New York-sized expansion for the Division 2? Is the Division 2 development over? And what about the future of a Division 3? So what I have done is gone back over several of the early gameplay reveals and zeroed in on features and functions that, if there is a Division 3 that will be going live in the next few years, I think would really add some visual pop into that game. But before we begin, if you haven't yet smashed that sub button for intensive Division content, please do so. And don't forget to ring the bell to never miss a future upload notification from my channel. Let's get this one started. What's going on, everybody? It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and as I was working on my previous Division upload about how Avatar and Star Wars may spell the end for the Division franchise, I spent a lot of time reviewing over previous gameplay and reveal trailers for both the original Division game and the Division 2. Now, from all of that analysis, I noticed strong visual effects, especially in the original game's E3 gameplay reveal that took full advantage of the UI and capabilities of Isaac. As I started to think, what if the Division 3 has not yet begun full production and is still on the drawing boards? And if so, what if we could take these ideas that were so incredibly strong in that trailer and utilize them in a Division 3 title? And with all of these ideas, I want you to think of a single word: immersion. So here is a clip from that E3 gameplay reveal from back in 2014, and I'm just going to let this one play for a few seconds. And I want you to notice how the agent interacts with his Shade Watch to take advantage of all the information and menus available to him through the Isaac system before accessing his world map. So now that you've seen the clip, let me play it through again and freeze on a couple of visual elements that are exceptional at contributing to the immersion of the game through the interaction of the Shade Network and, of course, Isaac. Now, the first item you notice is the angled view and the 3D perspective. And in a moment, I will show you how it looked in the original game when it went live, and also now how it looks in the Division 2 when accessing the map feature. Also, notice the vendors clearly marked, the squad mates with their locations and gamer tags along with the events, and finally the major landmarks along with their status. Along with those landmarks are the connecting marks to what can possibly be additional activities associated with gaining control of those positions. Now, the map functions as a hologram on the ground using the actual agent profile as the focus of the map circle. You can even see the dark zone, along with what looks like a chopper extraction heading out over the East River. Now for comparison, here is my agent standing outside in the original Division game, and to access the map function, instead of scrolling through my Shade Watch, I simply press the map button and immediately jump to a bird's eye view of the open world. Notice how the environment and my surroundings are removed in favor of a black background, and while the buildings are visible, they look low res in a light relief style in comparison to the original gameplay reveal. Missing are the landmarks with status warnings, events, and vendors have been replaced with safe house icons. And finally, here is my agent standing outside and accessing the menu function in the Division 2. And in comparison to the original game, the buildings are now fully fleshed out with complete dimensional effects. Gone is the 360-degree compass that was seen in the first game, and while we do receive a clear picture of what is happening on the map, just like in the first game, it looks as if our character models have been placed on separate map menus, instead of what we saw in the gameplay trailer, where it looks as if the map is an overlay or a hologram that surrounds our characters. The next topic that I want to focus in on is how our agent in that gameplay trailer receives enhanced visuals and feedback through the use of what I believe is Isaac. Twice during this gameplay footage, the agent uses Isaac to scan individuals. Once 2 live survivors, one of which is identified as contagious, and the second time when he scans a dead body in the street and the cause of death is identified as head trauma. For comparison, here is my agent roaming the streets of New York in that original first game, and I do not have any options to scan corpses for cause of death or survivors to assess levels of threat for contagions. At the most is when a civilian approaches me in need of supplies, and I briefly receive an alert that I am scanning them, but it disappears quickly once the civilian gets closer. Again, here is my agent roaming the streets of DC in The Division 2. Scans for cause of death are still not available, and there are no sick or roaming NPCs other than those that are sent from the settlements looking for supplies or repairing equipment. Even when I help a group of settlers by ridding them of the attacking NPCs, I can still not perform any visual scans on them other than to see what they are intending to do, in this case, to patrol the area. Several additional features I would just like to touch on briefly are the overhead map icons that indicate what street you are on, and of course approaching, and the enhanced holographic scans when you approach mission areas, such as this underground mission starting off with a tunnel entrance. Again, all of these visual touches add relevance and weight to the power available to our agents' arsenals through Isaac, and as I mentioned before, it adds to the overall immersion factor. Later on in this trailer, our agent scans, unlocks, and opens a weapon crate to receive a Scar H. And again, we receive a visual scan and information concerning the weapon, such as damage, range, and mod slots, all with an eye-popping delivery. For comparison, here is how this crate interaction mechanic looked once the original Division game went live, with what looks like an interesting first interaction and then this basic loot icon that appears on the top of the screens, but no eye-popping scans or gear statistics other than the type and gear score. And here is that same crate interaction in The Division 2, and while the information shown on screen is greatly increased, it still doesn't match the scan and then details shown in the original gameplay footage. The difference is how involved Isaac is with the surroundings and the way the information is portrayed. There are many other details I could focus in on, but for this third and final piece, I want to showcase this drone footage from that original gameplay trailer while the agent controls the drone through the use of his tablet. Now, we were told that the drone being remote controlled through the use of the tablet was removed before final production because it was deemed to have been unbalanced for PvP. The player in this gameplay footage is using the drone to scan for targets, and when he does locate a hidden enemy, he uses the drone to highlight the target while it is behind cover so that the rest of the squad can fire through the billboard and down that enemy. This takes the power and feedback available to agents and cranks it up to an exciting 11 out of 10. Not only would this make an incredible addition to the game structure, it would embrace outside technology and propel the game in a different and extremely powerful direction. Using outside technology and third-party apps are something that many games have used effectively, including Destiny and Battlefield. And in a game as complex as the Division franchises, with the amount of gear sets, brand sets, talents, weaponry, and even effects and skills, a companion app is sorely needed. Having the ability to not only use a device, such as a tablet or even VR goggles to command and pilot skills would instantly create a buzz surrounding the Division 3. Adding the companion app that players have been asking for since the original game launched would add to the excitement and show a real conviction to the franchise, and overall would add incredible amounts of immersion to what could be a stunning finale for this franchise. So why now? Why produce and upload this video when we don't know anything about the future of this franchise, and even if there will be a Division 3? Well, my response comes in two parts. First is the desire to get these incredibly immersive features into any future Division sequel and bring it up to the standards set forth by that E3 gameplay trailer. I strongly believe that these features could really add another element to the franchise, and along with a strong plot, character development, lore, and everything else needed to create a successful title, it would add that little extra sizzle to a story concept that is oozing with potential. Since we have not heard a peep from the team at Massive or any other Ubi studio concerning the future of the franchise, If the Division 3 is truly in early development or hasn't yet started, we could push these features into the game at an early stage and therefore ensure their inclusion. The second part of my response has to do with technological limitations. Looking back at that 2014 gameplay trailer and just how intense those added effects truly were, it is my belief that the current gen consoles, in this case it was the PS4 and Xbox 360, were not capable of handling those taxing graphics, and that is why they never made it into the live game. Now we have the PS5 and the Series X, if you can get one, and these next-gen consoles certainly have the firepower to handle those added immersive features. Now, I know that these next-gen consoles are currently being sold in limited numbers, but if the Division 3 or a spin-off sequel were to go live in, say, 15 months or even 2 years from now, the ratio of next-gen consoles to the player base would be much higher in favor of those consoles, and therefore the developer, in this case Massive, would have more incentive to actually include these graphical features into the game. With the clips I've shown you in this video, we saw an incredible gameplay trailer with powerful feedback provided by Isaac, the original game with a greatly scaled down version of that tech, and in many cases it was just removed completely, and then with the Division 2, we have now seen that original tech being slowly implemented into the live game, but still not on the level of that trailer. With more and more next-gen consoles being purchased, and if the Division 3 is still on the drawing boards, this would be the perfect time to create the intense version of the Division we saw way back in 2014. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up right here, and I look forward to reading your feedback in the comments section below. If you haven't yet smashed that sub button for intensive Division content, you know what to do, and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another upload notification from my YouTube channel. If you liked the video, please rate it with a thumbs up, if not with a thumbs down. Links to support my content creation outside of YouTube include Patreon and Teespring, both links in the video comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for all my latest thoughts concerning most things gaming related, and until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.